Good afternoon and welcome to the IVMF's VetNet Employer Spotlight. We are fortunate to have our long-standing relationship with many private and public sector and partners out in corporate America. And today we're going to welcome ADP. My name is Ken Mays, the Employer Relationship Navigator with the IVMF, and it is my distinct pleasure to be your moderator for today's session. So today we are privileged to spotlight ADP and our final employer spotlight for this year, 2021. So you might ask the question, why ADP? Why ADP? Because ADP is the place. It is the place where you come to challenge yourself. It is the place where you share generously of yourself. And then it is also the place where you take risks and you can create change as well. So our guest speaker is responsible for designing, developing, and implementing a lot of ADP's programs to attract, onboard, and develop veteran talent, as well as support some of the selected veteran nonprofit organizations external to ADP. In addition, he serves as the National Vice Chairman for ADP's Military Strong and Allies Business Resource Group. He has served over 21 years in the United States Army, culminating his career as a senior Army officer and staff member at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Please join me in welcoming the Senior Director for Veteran Initiatives at ADP, Mr. Harris Morris. Welcome, Harris.
Thank you, Ken. It's a pleasure to be here today and really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of VetNet and continuing the partnership and relationship that we have with all the amazing things that IVMF is doing. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. I know we've had a lot of conversations previously, and, ADP, a lot of times people may not even be really familiar with all the things that are available at ADP. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, everyone will have a good opportunity to see all of the employment opportunities and a lot of the work that ADP actually does in the market today. So thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And at this time, I'd like to give you full control and share your information as necessary. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Ken. And thanks to everybody that's joining the call today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to listen in and learn more about ADP. I thought I would start out, before jumping into slides, I thought I might start out and just give a little bit of background on myself above and beyond what Ken had spoken to us about, and just trying to help you understand a little bit more about myself and ADP as well. So like Ken said, I got out of the military back in 2012 is when I retired. So I've been out 8 years now, 9 years, depending if you count the pandemic year or not. But as I came into the role at ADP to look at the military veterans and our military community as a whole, a lot of my history and kind of where I came from is a part of it. And so what I wanted to kind of explain is, when I got out of the military, I left the military having been an armor officer, and I spent a lot of my time, in operational units and doing things. And it was really kind of hard to find, tanks out in corporate America unless you want to go into, defense contracting, which was not the direction I chose to go. When I got out, I actually went into project management and did project management as kind of my first role coming out of the military, and really, like many of our veterans that get out, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and so I thought I could do project management, and that's the direction I went. But I think the bigger thing here is, and I hope that we can talk about some of these things in addition to ADP as a whole, making sure that we're all doing the right things and we're putting the right things in motion as we make that, next step in our careers for the veterans. And then for, if you're a transitioning veteran, and then if you're a military spouse or, somebody that may have been out for a while and are looking to pivot into the human capital management space where ADP sits. Hopefully we can have some discussions around that. So I am going to go ahead and pull up some slides real quickly, and hopefully you all can confirm that you can see them as a first step. And then I'll go in and start talking a little bit about ADP as a whole, if that sounds good to everybody.
Okay, we can see your slides. You're in presentation mode.
Yep, I'm trying to bring it up. There we go.
Oh, we have it. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So I've got about 8 or 9 slides that I'm going to talk through and really try to talk through ADP as a company, help you understand a little bit more about the company, and ideally help you figure out where you might be able to fit into ADP as you think about your next career steps. So real quickly, ADP at a glance. This is kind of by the numbers, but we were a company founded in 1949 in Paterson, New Jersey. I actually work out of our corporate headquarters in Roseland, New Jersey. So we still have maintained a footprint there. Over $15 billion in revenue each year. We have over 58,000 employees worldwide. We're in many, many countries, over 140, I think you see there. About 30,000 of those employees, give or take, are in the United States. The other half are around the world. Like I said, we are located in Roseland, New Jersey. If you take a look, about 75% of Fortune 500 are our clients. So we're a really big company that maybe many of you, especially those that are transitioning, may not know anything about. And I have to be honest, when I first got out of the military, I had no idea what ADP was. And, I had no reason to. I got paid through DFAS. I had joined the military when I was 18, and I really didn't have a need to understand civilian payroll and things of that nature. So I never even considered it as a company when I got out. And hopefully we can talk about that a little bit more down the road as you think about what you're going to do next. About 1 out of every 6 workers in the US actually is paid by ADP. And so, we're a really big company that many of you that may not know a whole lot about. So, I bring this up to give you an idea of some of the recognition that ADP has gotten. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about our locations and where our offices actually sit, and it'll help make some sense to why we're so committed to our military community, which includes both our veterans and military spouses. And this just gives you a sense. We've been awarded with several things, and we are serious about our commitment to the military community. If you go to our site, and I think you'll see that link in the chat down the road here, and also on one of our slides, there's some great videos just to give you a sense of the veterans that we have, people who are still serving within our ranks here at ADP, and the many, many individuals who are either allies or may have family members that are serving. So we have a deep history with the military, and we continue to look for that talent as we go forward. So you may have heard me mention earlier a little bit about human capital management, okay? And so for those of you that know what it is, I apologize, but I also want to make sure that those that maybe have never thought about it get a better idea of what ADP does. We are a cloud-based human capital management company, so it's all predicated on the technology that we use, that we provide to our clients of all sizes. We do things like human resources for our clients, benefits administration, talent, recruiting. We do payroll, time management, just to give you, the types of things that fall under the umbrella of human capital management. So who do we serve? I think the best way to talk about ADP, and I like to share this because when I got out of the military, I didn't necessarily understand the inner workings of a company. I didn't understand how they were organized or what kinds of businesses they have. And I think that's really important as you do your research and look into companies. But for ADP, obviously everything starts with the sale. So we have a very large sales force. We always have opportunities available for those of you that might be interested in sales all across the country and around the world for that matter. The way we kind of organize the businesses is around the size of our clients. So you'll see that small business services, that's going to represent that 1 to 49 employees that you see on the slide. That could be a mom and pop shop somewhere. It could be a small restaurant. It could be a lawn cutting business. They have needs to pay their employees and HCM needs as a whole, and we can provide them with that expertise and assistance so that they can focus on their business and allow us to do some of those things in the background for them. The major account services represents that next larger group, 50 to 999 employees. We'll round it up to 1,000. And these types of businesses could be in multiple states, right? They could be, they obviously have more employees. They may have more benefits and things that they need to be able to do. And so we at ADP can provide assistance in bringing that all together for them. And then you have your national account services, which is going to take that next step up, which is going to be, your 1,000 plus large industries. They could be we could have multinational companies that are operating in countries all around the world, paying people in all kinds of different currencies, all types of different compliance rules that need to be, that they need to apply to their businesses. And so ADP it provides that subject matter expertise to our clients of all sizes. You'll see HR outsourcing. And so that's really where these companies can come to us and we can help them with their HR needs. So we could be their HR business partners. We can do anything that falls under that HR umbrella. We have the expertise within our business to provide that to them. And so we have a whole group that does that. You'll see the smart compliance solutions. As you can imagine, there's always change going on within the industry, within governments. And our expertise is staying atop of those changes, making sure that it's incorporated into our products and services that we provide to our clients to make sure that they are compliant in the things that they do. Obviously, as a company that is technology-based, we have a large group that actually does that technology development. And so that's where a lot of our developers and individuals that may have that interest, that's where they are going to lie. We have a group that does our global shared services, and those are things that go across all of our businesses. And it's really an economy of scale effort that they do. And then you have your normal corporate functions internal to ADP. And some of those include, global human resources, finance, legal, strategy groups. We have within our legal, we actually have our global security organization, which includes, both physical security as well as, cybersecurity, which is very, very important to what we do. All right, so I realize that we have an audience that's probably across the country, and for that matter, could be around the world. And so what I wanted to do at least is to help some of you understand where some of our primary locations are. This is by no means all exclusive. These are some of the locations where we do have a lot of roles, and so I'll kind of go through these each column here for you. Our 1ADP locations are really our large flagship offices, if you will, where we have lots of businesses operating in those areas. So when I was talking about small business and majors and our global product and technology group, et cetera. Many of these locations will encompass all of those. So there's lots of opportunities. Thousands of people will work in those buildings, which provides lots of opportunities, lots of roles, lots of mobility, et cetera. But, what I'll call to your attention on that, given that, we're with the military community here, most of these sit right next to major military installations. So Fort Bliss in El Paso, Luke Air Force Base in Tempe, Norfolk Naval Base, Fort Gordon in Augusta. Miami has United States Southern Command and Hempstead Air Force Base, Louisville, Fort Knox. So we sit right near military installations, and we recognize what our military community can bring to ADP and the skills and things that they bring as well. And we have a lot of them in our ranks right now. Some of the other large locations that we have, you'll see in Alpharetta, just outside of Atlanta. Northern New Jersey, which is our corporate headquarters, also has several other large buildings that are supporting our businesses. La Palma, California, just outside of LA. And then we have some of our inside sales offices in Tucson, Allentown, and Coraopolis outside of Pittsburgh. So that gives you, some of the larger offices where a lot of the jobs are when you go looking on our job site. Then within our sales offices, we basically have offices all across the country. I think when I looked this morning, there's sales openings right now in 37 different states and in multiple cities, within some of those states. So lots and lots of opportunities. Like I said, I think it was almost 500 roles available across the country right now if sales is something that you're interested in. And then we have, our technology, our primary technology locations, Alpharetta, New York City, Pasadena, and Northern New Jersey. Again, there are technologists in other locations, especially around those 1ADP locations, but the ones that you see there are where a lot of our real, technologists sit and develop our technology. All right, so one of the things that I think is really important, and I welcome any questions that you all may have about this as we get to the Q&A here shortly. One of the really important things when you're getting out of the military and looking for that next career choice is making sure that your values align with the company that you're going to. And I'm just going to kind of use myself as an example, but I ask you all to really do a deep reflection of what are your values? And I can tell you that myself, as somebody that came into the military at age 18 and spent, 22 years doing that, those values that I learned within my service and within the military as a whole is core to who I am as an individual. And they're not going anywhere. They are my values. And so as each of us, gets out of the military, goes looking for that next thing that we want to do, it's important to reflect on those values that you have and how they align to the values of the company that you're looking at. And so I'm not going to go into each one of the values that you see there on the right, but I think with the center of each person counts and the other values that you see around there, I think that most of us as a military community can very cleanly relate to and appreciate. And so I find that the values here at ADP are very aligned to the values that I hold as an individual. And I see it every day in, just working with the rest of the ADP team and how, quite honestly, the way it comes together is the closest that I've ever seen to like what I was used to in the military. It's about the team, right? We are in the business of taking care of people, just like you are in the military. That's the one thing that I will always carry with me, that it's all about the team. It's about, that we care about the people that we work with. And I see that ADP and it comes out in the values that they hold dear and that they actually execute day to day as an organization. You'll see some of the pictures here, just taken over, the last several years of the types of things that our military community is out doing, in addition to what we do every day in our day jobs. We take social responsibility very, very seriously, and our individuals are out there connecting with organizations like IVMF and many, many others at both a national and a local level to really allow our military community to give back, to do things like this, right? I know a lot of, I'll call out two particular individuals, Paulina Thompson in Hampton Roads and Laura Butler in El Paso, who are part of the Onward to Opportunity program. I do want to give them a shout out for, amplifying the message on social media and getting people on. But we work with those organizations at a local level to help our military community, to help them with resume building, to help them network into a company. And so, it's important as you think about where you go and how you can continue to give back and throw that rope or that ladder back down to your fellow service members. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the ADP Skill Bridge program. So we are, as a company, a direct employer with the DoD Skill Bridge program. And so we have opportunities that we're looking for individuals. If you are somebody that's in the last 6 months and you've been approved for your Skill Bridge opportunity, I welcome a conversation with you. If ADP sounds like something you might be interested in, we are looking for both client service and implementation specialists at our 1ADP locations that sit right outside some of our military installations that I talked about earlier. And so we've got individuals that have come through in the past year who are either in their internship or have actually been hired on full-time post their Skill Bridge opportunity. But what an amazing, amazing opportunity that provides you as a service member who may be getting out and thinking about what to do next. It really, really gives you an opportunity to come in, understand the culture of the company, get training in the skills that you will need in your new civilian MOS, as I like to call it. I'm happy to have those conversations. If you want to reach out to me personally, you'll see my email there, as well as the types of information. I would just ask you to attach, a copy of a resume, the location of interest that you may have, which of those roles, client service or implementation specialist, and I'll talk about those here shortly. When your start date, tentative start date that you've been approved by your chain of command, your ETS or retirement date, and then if you have an actual terminal leave start date that you're looking at. And so, there's many, many opportunities that we have, and it's been worked out pretty well for the folks that have come through the program, and I'd love to talk to you about that if that might be something you're interested in. So let me real quickly, before I go on to the final slide, client service. I talked earlier about how everything starts with the sale. The next piece on that assembly line then is our implementation teams who take that technology and deliver it to those clients of all sizes that I talked about. They're going to make sure that the technology is in place, that the data is in place, answering questions, getting it set up. And then once that's done, they hand that off to our client service teams, who will then work with those clients to help them with anything that they may need. Maybe they need assistance. They don't know how to do something. Our client service are that first point of contact that will help them with anything that they have. And you as a client service would have a book of clients that you're actually responsible for, and that you are their go-to person as it relates to our products and services, depending on the size of the business. All right, I am getting down to the last slide, which should leave us with plenty of time for questions and things of that nature. But We currently have a site, and you can see the link there. And I think Elvis maybe was going to drop that into the chat as well. You can go to this site and do one of two things. You can go in there and actually look for roles that are available. Right now, we have over 1,900 externally facing roles that are available across the U.S. If you're just looking, you're interested, you want to get more information, we also have the opportunity for you to identify yourself as a member of the military community, whether that be a veteran, military spouse, and you can join our talent community at that link and stay connected to us. We'll be pushing messages. We'll talk about hot jobs that are available that will come across based on your interests and things that you may be looking for. The individual you see there, that is Carlos Rodriguez, who is our CEO at ADP. And, I just give you a sense of things. Every Veterans Day, we always do a breakfast, at least pre-pandemic. We would bring everybody in across the country at their different locations, and they would have a recognition, of all our military community. He is a firm supporter, and it starts at the top. He is always open to helping and doing things and talking to our veterans, and we've done some amazing things over the years. And so that's an important component to our program, and understanding that it does start from the top and there is support for our military community. So with that was really what I had to put together, and I'm hoping that we've got some questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so that we can maybe go into more of the questions.
Great job, Harris. And we do have a few questions for you. People have been popping in the chat here periodically. So the first question is from Monica. Monica's question is, do you have any positions that align with the Google IT certifications, Harris?
So, I would recommend that you go take a look at some of the roles. I'll drop it in here, but we have a whole thing that for our IT group, or the GPT that I talked about earlier. So it's a certification that is in there. I don't know which specific jobs, but I have no doubt that there's a use for that out there within ADP.
Excellent. Yes, because with an organization like ADP, I'm pretty sure that you will be able to entertain from the highest level to you even mentioned cybersecurity as well. So level 1, 2, and 3 IT certs, all the way up to cybersecurity opportunities will be available as well. So our next question, Harris, comes from Jean Noel. Jean is still serving as a reservist and wants to know, would they be able to apply for a position at ADP?
Absolutely. In fact, if you go to that website that I shared earlier, on that, we actually have a link. We have a video actually from a military reservist who was deployed to Iraq in the last year. I think she got back about a year ago. And it talks about how she can balance her career between ADP and her National Guard or Reserve role. And so, she had an amazing experience. She has supportive leadership, all the types of things that I think our National Guard and Reservists are looking for out of that employer that they would be with.
Okay, great. And I saw that you have a very strong veteran resource group, business resource group within ADP. So that's a great opportunity for anyone that's still serving in the reserve component to be able to transfer over. So the next question, Harris, is from Jessica. And Jessica wants to know, do you have any remote employment opportunities at ADP?
Great. It's a question I get quite a bit, especially in these times. So we do have some. I would not say that we're one of those employers that's gone 100% virtual, but you can go in there, and normally they're called work from home for us. And those are the types of opportunities that you would see as you do your search. on roles. But you will see that we do have roles for sure. It really depends on what job you're looking for. It's unique to certain jobs. Some jobs have to be in the office, and then there's others that don't. And so you'd have to look based on what your skills and experience are.
Great. And I'm assuming that would include full-time, term, or even temp positions, right?
Sure.
Okay. So Harris, the next question is from David. David wants to know, is a security clearance a requirement to be hired at ADP?
Nope. So I think that there's very few jobs, frankly, that are going to have a security clearance. They're probably going to be more in the physical security or cyber security side of the world because of the nature of the work they do and the systems that they use. But the majority of our jobs are not going to have that type of thing, but they will have a background check that they do on individuals, just like every other company, to take a look and see, make sure that there's nothing that would cause us to think twice, right?
Okay, that was a good answer. Yeah. So security clearances, that could be based on location, basically, what you're saying. Okay.
Specific jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, specific jobs and actual geographical location. Monica came up on the chat and she was, asked a question about education requirements, such as you have to have a degree. Are there any provisions in place to allow opportunities for people who may be in pursuit of a degree or may not quite have it yet to get employed at ADP?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. And that's something that we've taken a good look at. We have kind of softened our stance on that, especially with our military community, because we realize that while you might not have a degree, you have a lot of practical experience, both from your work day to day, your cultural experiences around the world, that all of those things we value, and we realize that a degree doesn't necessarily get you that. So I think that there's a lot of things that we've done within our sales force. I know that they've gone and we are looking for our veterans, and we will consider you for roles for sure. If you're working towards a degree or maybe you don't have it, we do want to give you credit for that military experience that you do have.
Okay, Larry came up, Harris, and Larry wants to know, does ADP have a standard onboarding process, or does it depend on what role you will be fulfilling?
It's good. Another great question. So the way our onboarding normally happens is each of our businesses has their own system that they use. There's certain things that they want you to be learning as you come on board. We are looking at different ways. We have a program called Nano that we use at some of our locations, where it's a standard package that everybody coming into our 1ADP locations, they will kind of go through that training. So I think that it does vary. Somebody who's an experienced individual that's been in corporate America for a while, they're going to come in, and there's probably going to be less. There'll be some minimum things that they do, but if you're brand new, we want to make sure that it's as standardized as possible by business, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, and then a follow-on from Larry was, what's a typical onboard timeline look like, and what does it entail?
So it's been a while since I onboarded, and I know what my experience was. There was, when I went through, I had to kind of come up with like a 30, 60, 90 plan of what I was going to be doing as a senior director coming in. Now, if you are somebody that's coming in maybe at an entry level kind of role, or it's hard to say, given that we have so many businesses that I presented to you earlier. But you're going to learn about benefits. You're going to learn about the different sites that you can go to, where the resources are that you will need in order to support yourself as you come in. And some of the things that we're trying to do right now, we have a mentoring program that we're using for our military community, that as they come in, we want to try to provide somebody that you can connect with to help you as you acclimate to this new world. That's something that's available. And, we make available to all of our BRG members, Business Resource Group members.
Yeah, that is great, Harris. All right, just continue on. We're getting a lot of activity here in the chat. Another question for you, sir. To work in the cybersecurity at ADP, what would you identify as a certification for an entry point into cybersecurity?
So again, there's a lot of different kinds of roles that are available. What I would recommend is go in, take a look at roles in New York City, in Northern New Jersey, those technology jobs, right? And look up cyber, just do a keyword search on cyber and take a look at the roles that are there. A lot of the folks that come in have experience. Not all of them do. But I would recommend, I actually went through, so I'll kind of take a step back and share with you. When I went through the Onward to Opportunity program, I guess it was back before it was called Onward to Opportunity, but I actually went through all the certification training that they had available for cyber in order to try to bolster myself and understand a little bit more about it. And so, there's a lot of certifications that are out there, and some are better than others depending on what avenue you're going into. So without understanding the specifics of it, I would tell you, take a look at the roles and they'll tell you what they're looking for. It's pretty clear.
Okay, this is a question from one of our O2O students, currently enrolled, getting ready to retire. His name is David. And David just completed the study for the PMP, the Project Management Professional Certification. And he wants to know, is that something that can get him onboarded within ADP?
So I'm a big believer, as somebody that went into project management as my first job out of the military. I didn't have PMP. I didn't go through that training. I ended up actually working on an agile development team, and I had to do a lot of learning on my own. But one thing that I do know is when I showed up, I didn't have the lingo. I wasn't able to speak in terms of project management the way they do. And so what I would tell you is having that PMP and working towards that and being able to go to an interview and speak the language of project management will take you a lot further than probably somebody like myself that, was trying to kind of talk about it, but I didn't have a full mastery of it. And so, I think you have to be able to speak, civilianese, and PMP helps you do that as it relates to project management. And so, yeah, I don't think it hurts you. We have lots of roles, and I'll share this with you as well. For that particular one, we have project managers that are doing things internal to ADP, but I would also tell you that our implementation teams, they are delivering projects externally, right? So if you're looking for using that project management skill set, make sure you also look up, when you do a search, look at implementation, because those are external facing project managers.
All right, thanks very much for that. Can the audience connect with you for an informational interview, Harris? That was one of the questions from Larry. Are you available to do an informational interview with someone?
I do them for sure. I'm happy to, I'm not a hiring manager in the sense that that I've got roles directly for me, but I'd be happy to talk more about ADP and help you understand a little bit more about it. Happy to do that.
Are the ADP positions available for male spouses as well, Harris?
Yes. So I definitely, I'll give you a few pieces that we do. We actually, as part of our business resource group, we have a military spouse advisory council who really is representing our military spouse population and helping us to understand the challenges. I think generally we know what those are for somebody that's moving around all the time and doing those types of things. And so, we have military spouses that are in our ranks right now. In fact, just this past month for November is kind of the military, we call it Military Strong Celebratory Month, which includes Veterans Day, but it goes the whole month. And we actually did a panel with a bunch of military spouses who were talking to the rest of ADP about their experiences, the skills that they bring, and helping bridge the gap and get rid of some of those biases, ideally, that may exist out there. Our military spouses are doing amazing things. I just one comes off the top of my head right now. One of our head HR business partners in Norfolk is a military spouse. So she's doing amazing work in helping our military spouses at ADP.
So in our conversation that we had previously, Harris, we talked about talent mobility, and that kind of leads me to a question that's asked by Nick. So if a person comes into ADP and let's say they have an entry-level certification, but they also have a stack of other certifications on top of the entry level, is there a possibility that they can, be mobile or move across the organization? And are there any internal programs that will train them up for that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I will tell you that ADP is very focused on mobility. And we actually, a lot of our positions are filled internally, right? Where people are moving around looking for opportunities. So we are not one of those companies that limits you to that job that you came in and that's all you'll ever do. Our associates move around all the time. And if you're at one of those larger locations where there's all the businesses represented, are what we call our 1ADP locations, or some of those other large offices, there's no shortage of opportunities. And you will see that a lot of our people move around and move into other jobs. And, quite honestly, people stay longer at the company as a result of that. So we've got some really cool things that help our associates visualize where they might, where people in their job have gone before them, and things of that nature. So yeah, mobility is a big part of what we do, and we definitely are always trying to find opportunities for people to use their skills, in the job they're in or somewhere else if possible.
So I'm a transitioning service member coming in, Harris, and I just want to get an idea of how long would it actually take for me to go from the application submission all the way to hire? Can you give me a timeline or at least a range?
Yeah, I would tell you, and I'll kind of take a step back and put my kind of recruiter hat on. There's roles that are open, and we want to fill them as quickly as possible with the right kind of candidates. So, a lot of jobs are filled quickly, I would say inside of that 60-day window. But that's not to say, and I have, visibility where I can see where there's veterans being hired that have a later start date. So maybe you're not, you're getting out in 4 months or something like that, but you were a great fit. You interviewed, it was something that we wanted. And, we can hold that position if you're the right fit for it. So I don't know if that's kind of where that question was going, but usually it's going to be, 60, 45 days, you should be applying to get it in place, by the time you get out or when you're available.
Well, Harris, you and I talked, and I'm a former military recruit. I recruited for the Army a long time. And I have a gentleman here that says that they want to recruit military talent, but they have no formal experience, and they see on your site that you have various recruiter positions. In your opinion, how likely would it be that ADP would take a chance on someone in recruiting with zero experience?
To become, are we talking about somebody with a recruiter background, did you say? Like a military recruiter?
This person has stated, Sean, you can even pop in if you want to clarify your question. I'm seeing here they have no experience, but they have a desire to want to work in that career field.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Kenneth Harris. That was my question. I want to recruit. I think that would be, for me, that would be the best way for me to be able to give back to the military community by helping to hire military talent. But I've sort of recruited. I've interviewed people. I've matched people with opportunities and things like that. But I've never used like applicant tracking system and things like
Sure.
that. And so I'm just looking to get with a company to help recruit military talent, but I didn't recruit in the military. I have never recruited formally.
Yeah, no, that's a fair question. So, I know recruiters who are specifically recruiting for military folks for clients, for some of our clients. And, they're all, for the most part, military, ex-military folks, and not all of them were recruiters in the military. I think what's more important to be able to do that job well is to figure out where you can connect with them, right? Like what are the different, whether it be a TAP office or groups like here, working with Onward to Opportunity and IBMF and all the various groups that are out there trying to help veterans. That's really the thing that you bring, and you can show up and have that discussion with the service members. They don't know whether you're a recruiter or not. They just know there's somebody here who's understands what I'm going through. They can help me figure out where I need to go. And so we do have roles like that. There's not hundreds of them or anything like that, but they come available every once in a while. So if you want to reach out to me or whatever, I'm happy to see if I can't put you in touch with that team.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for that question, Larry. Who we have is Sean. Sean, go ahead. You have a question, Sean?
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you just switched your picture. That's what it was. Okay. So another question, Harris. Does ADP offer internships?
So we have internships. I obviously talked about the DoD skill bridge, but that's not for everybody. Obviously, if you're already out of the military, maybe you're in college and looking to find something as you're getting out. We do have internships that are available, and I could help connect you with our campus team. But you can look up, if you just did a search of internships, and they're going to be available at the normal times that internships are available. But they're primarily focused on college folks coming out. And I understand, with this population, many of our service members obviously get out. They use their GI Bill to go to school, get a new education in something. And as you come out, that's a good place to be looking, because that's what most college folks do anyways. And so, yes, we do have them. And you just have to look at the particulars on it.
Hey, these have all been excellent questions. There's one more question here. Well, two more I want to hit before we begin to transition to the end of the presentation. Now, I know you had your 1 ADP list locations. Do you have anything in the state of South Carolina, Harris?
We do. I actually did a thing that I expected somebody would ask this kind of question. 2 seconds. South Carolina. We've got a total of 18 roles available right now. Most of those are in sales, and some of those are in compliance solutions in South Carolina.
Okay, there's your answer, Monica. Thank you for that great question. And just wait a minute, we got more questions coming in. Wow, this is a great VetNet. This has been very productive. Let's see what we have here. I'm working on a bachelor's in cybersecurity. What roles are available? I think you pretty much answered that before. You have to go to the site and see what the requirements are and just kind of do your own inventory from there. Any roles in the state of North Carolina, Harris?
We do. I think there's some, we've got 1,900 roles. I don't have them memorized, but let me take a look here and see. North Carolina, we have currently 13 sales roles available in North Carolina, if that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, so it seems like one of your evergreen positions that you're filling is sales. I mean, they're like always open. That's a great skill set to have and for advancement within the company as well. Because every day you're selling something, right? Living is to sell.
Yep.
We covered that. So as we round off these questions, Harris, I want to give you an opportunity to share one final thought. What recommendations would you have for any veteran or military families member who is applying for a job with ADP? Your final recommendations, what would you share with us?
All right, that's a loaded question. So let's see. I think as you go out and take a look, I'm going to go back to something that somebody told me when I was looking for jobs, and that was, that you need to do homework. Look on the site. Look at the job descriptions. Okay. And I am guilty of this. As when I was getting out, I had a recruiter who pulled me aside nicely at a career fair and said, you need to understand more about the company. Don't come to me saying, what do you have for me, right? As compared to coming to an event or a recruiter, whatever it is, having done your homework, understand the company, understand, even before you get to the career fair, I think it's really, really important to do a reflection of what is best for me. What can I do? If you mess that step up, everything else is going to kind of be off kilter a little bit and then you'll kind of follow, and I understand that it's hard as we're getting out. We don't understand that other side. That is a fact. Do reach out to people. We talk about networking, right? Networking is more than just sending somebody a LinkedIn thing, right? And invite. It's reaching out. Find those companies that you think you're interested in and learn more about them. And this, these kind of things provide you an opportunity, but reach out. If you're specifically interested in project management at ADP, do an advanced search. Look for, whatever service you're in, US Navy, implementation or project manager, and ADP, and see what comes up. And then reach out to them and just ask them a question. Say, hey, I just want to learn more about what you do. You're not asking for a job. You're not coming across that way, and they'll be happy. I'm telling you, they will be happy to talk to you. Take opportunities for mentorship, right? And have people kind of talk with you and let you know, what's out there, where you might be looking. Don't limit yourself to just companies that maybe you heard of, right? And I use that as the tip of the iceberg. Is, we all know, you name the company, right? That's a big company and everybody knows it. But for every one of those, there's probably 20 others that have the kinds of jobs you're looking for that are known companies, just not to you. And making sure you're looking at the big picture. As it relates to ADP, reach out to our folks. I'm sure that they'll talk to you, and they'll talk to you more about the culture if you want to learn about that. I sit in the corporate headquarters, but the culture in the building in El Paso might be different a little bit than Augusta. So you really want to talk to those folks that are in those locations and understand what the job is. You know, I think that's kind of a mouthful, but there's really a lot of things. You really got to get yourself straight, know what you want to do, and then honestly, make sure you've got kind of the credentials. Use programs like Onward to Opportunity to fill the gaps that you may not have right now. And so, you know, I've seen through all these questions, people are getting their PMPs, they're getting degrees in certain things. You are filling that gap now to help you with that transition over.
Absolutely. And then once you fill the gaps, you still got to go back to your first point, which is you got to understand who you are. You got to go through that self-identification phase, figure out who you are, what it is that you really want to do, and then do the research and find out where you want to do it at. So today has been very rewarding, Harris, and I want to thank you for sharing your time with us. I've learned quite a bit about ADP, and I'm sure our attendees have learned much as well. We have a significant amount of links in the chat that Elvis has placed there for you to go back and do some personal research. And we will also be sending out the slide deck that Harris used during his presentation so that you can research this on your own during your own time as well. So without further ado, Harris, I want to thank you for your time today once again. And we are honored to be a partner with ADP, the IVMF, and the Onward to Opportunity program collectively. We are very privileged and grateful to be part of the ADP line of business of what you do. So thank you again. Any other parting words before we go, sir?
No, Ken, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the partnership with IVMF. You all are doing amazing things, and everybody on the line, the work that you're doing to prepare yourself to make that transition and taking every opportunity that's out there, you know, continue to do what you're doing. It'll get you to where you want to be.
All right. With that being said, thank you much for your time. And this concludes today's VetNet. Thank you.